Well, welcome to another episode of Coronacation. I'm Naomi White in Brisbane, Australia, and this is a conversation about culture, health, and spirituality in the time of coronavirus. And today I'm joined by my very good friend Sue McDonnell in Sydney, Australia. How are you, Sue?
Hi, Naomi. Great to see you. I'm
You
good,
too.
thank you. And
Sue,
you?
I'm excellent, thank you. It's a beautiful morning here, and the sun is shining. I've had a lovely breakfast, just had a cup of coffee. Life is good. Sue, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, obviously, I'm Irish, and I have been living in Sydney for about 20 years. Love my life here. Feel very grateful to be in Australia, particularly at this time. You couldn't think of a better country to be in to self-isolate. Having said that, I miss my home country very much, particularly now around Easter. I'd love to be with my family, but I'm very lucky that I'm very connected here in Sydney and have a wide circle of friends all over the country.
So how has coronavirus, this situation, affected you personally? What are the implications for you,
Well, I
both
suppose,
professionally or personally?
yeah, I suppose it's impacted me on a number of levels, both positive and maybe not so positive. So I think firstly, it's impacted me professionally in terms of, I hate these words, but I've had to pivot my business quite significantly. So I do a lot of my work face to face, and I've had to change my work to be more of an online nature. I've lost quite a lot of revenue, but then I've had clients reaching out to me for other things. So I'm sort of used to work coming easily to me. I'm very blessed like that. And this has been a bit more of a scramble for me, which has been interesting, I think, but it's caused me to research more and to get more in touch with what's really important to people at the moment. So that's been great. I think secondly, the nature of this new online world is very foreign to me in the sense that I'm just missing the nuances that you get when you're actually sitting with someone face to face, because we know in the corporate world people can manage themselves very well from here up, but actually people do a lot of things with their legs that actually tell us a lot about how they operate in the world. So I'm missing that. From a personal perspective, I actually genuinely did not realize how important touch was to me until this happened. I think, we need touch as humans. And I'm reminded of that experiment where monkeys were put in a cage and given a mother that looked like a mother, but was a wire representation of a mum. And they had everything else. They had their food, they had their water, but they actually started dying because they didn't actually get the touch they needed.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to it. But I think, what it's made me realize is there's a lot of focus, and rightly so, on families and couples working from home together. But I work with a huge number of people who live alone and who working from home is incredibly isolating for them. And I think then on a more positive note, what it's caused me to do is to really go inward and go, well, why is this all happening? What are we meant to be learning from this? Is this Mother Earth angry with us? I've got a really good friend who's into quite a lot of conspiracy theories. So, and as I said to him the other night, conspiracy theories and self-isolation don't really go well together. I want to be aware and informed, and at the same time, I don't want to go into fear. So that's something else I'm learning. How do I really sit with fear? And I'll just say one other thing was interesting. The other day I woke up, and as you know, like I've done, a bit of work on myself. So, and I still woke up the other day with a pain in my lung, and I actually thought I had the coronavirus. And when I called the chiro to say, look, I'm not going to come in because I think I'm sick, she said, no. I told her my symptoms. She said, come in. When I went in, she said to me, you're the 7th person in today with this symptom. And she said, what it is for you, Sue, is you're holding space for so many people. You're not actually breathing from your diaphragm, and you've popped your rib. And I kind of went, And then she pushed something, excuse me, and everything just moved back into place, and I was fine. And I thought, isn't that interesting that actually we as a humanity are feeling this collective anxiety, the 7th person into one chiro with that symptom. And then the final thing I'll say, and then I'd love to hear from you, is I don't know if you're familiar with the Schumann resonance, but it measures heart rate. And, there was a global meditation on, and I participated in it. And the results came out the next day, and everything was a higher vibration. And so what that tells me is that as a collective consciousness and as a society, we are meant to be joining at this time and remembering simplicity.
Mm,
So there's been a lot of learning, a lot of what I suppose psychotherapists call anticipatory grief. If this is going on for the next 6 months, what will that mean for people? You know,
mm,
how will that affect grandparents not being able to hold their grandchildren, etc.
mm,
So there's quite a lot to consider, and I'm also worried about the mental health impacts, the suicides, domestic violence, alcoholism. Uh,
mm,
there's a lot to be considered. And I think when we have a country where we have people leading us who are mainly leading with their head and intellect, which of course is very valued, I also think, you know, we need to lead through the heart with this. That I don't think you can lead a transformational change unless you're modeling transformational behavior.
mm. No, that's beautiful. So then so based on that, what advice would you give others right now to help them through this period? Because you've got some really unique perspectives.
Well, I'd say a few things. I'd say, excuse me, sorry, excuse me. I would say that, first of all, most of us don't feel our feelings. We think we do, but we don't. So if someone cries, they think they're feeling their feelings. They're not. They're crying. They're releasing something. Feeling your feelings is literally sitting with both feet planted on the ground and just going inward and doing a little meditation, putting a hand on your heart and maybe a hand on your belly, and just feeling whatever you're feeling. As I often say to my clients, if it didn't kill you going in, it's not going to kill you coming out. So I think that's the first thing. Really, how do we learn in this time to sit with ourselves and not numb out with Netflix, with alcohol, with whatever we numb out with? Okay. I think the second thing is you know, I've seen so many memes and things encouraging us, like Einstein came up with some theory when he was in isolation, etc. I think that puts a layer of pressure and expectations on us. I think it's okay to rest. And actually, I think we've been longing for a rest for a long time. So if you don't get much achieved, don't be too hard on yourself. I think a couple of other things would be families, you know, for children are so hypersensitive to energy because they don't have all the barriers that we've put on ourselves as adults. And the most important thing for children right now is to really engage with them and to check in with them and to sit with them and to potentially, yes, have some routine and discipline, because I know children really value that. And at the same time, to know when to flex and flow with that. Children pick up on their parents' emotions. So how we model, how we show up is really important. And the other thing is, you know, don't be afraid to reach out to people and say if you're lonely or if you need help, because, you know, we're all here to help each other.
That's absolutely beautiful and some fantastic advice and perspectives there. Sue, thank you so much for joining me. That was an absolute pleasure. I'm sure a lot of people will find this so interesting. Have a beautiful Good Friday.
You too. Great to chat. Thanks.
Bye.